To those watching after the fact, probably not worth watching this video, just shit as usual. I'm awake and near my computer, so I'm like, I may as well answer questions related to ethics if people have any. Nothing gonna be interesting happening. Not even remotely. I don't really plan to play videos or anything, so you could basically just be staring at the side profile of me as I watch House and wait for questions. So Howdy do. I just awoken from my slumber to listen to Antonina's content. Well, that's pretty much just. I'm watching House right now and just kind of. I don't know. Not really doing much of anything, but I should test to see if my mic's working. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, my mic's working. Yeah, humanity's fucking. I don't know, man. We're malignantly useless. We're malignantly useless, man. It's just like we have the potential to wipe out all the suffering on this bloody fucking rock. We have the potential. We have the technology. We have the intelligence. You know, we have it. We just don't care. We just can't collectively care. So yeah, I feel you, man. Humanity is disgusting, exploitative, and disgusting. Like I generally think we should bring like there's I watched a video today on like Facebook about like some dude that like bought the rights to like some AIDS medication, like AIDS and like the disease STD, you know, or whatever, like HIV. He bought the rights to the AIDS medicine, and it cost like $7 or something, and he increased the price of it to like $800, like overnight, like from like $7 to like 750 or some shit like that, like 800. He basically increased it by like 4,000% or some shit. And you know, basically sentenced like millions of people to just death, essentially, or bankruptcy. I mean, he eventually went to jail for like 7 years or something and got released like last year. But like the thing is, like, I think we should bring torture back. Honestly, we should bring torture back. We should bring like we should bring uh like you know the United States is like protection from cruel and unusual punishment. I'm honestly at the point where I'm just kind of like, you know what, maybe we went to a little too light. Maybe we went a little bit too far with these rights things, you know, these little rights. Like it's just like, maybe some fuckers do deserve to get tortured, you know, just to put the fear of God in them, you know. Make them understand that humanity is the God that they fear. The torment and righteous justice can be faced on earth. You know what I mean. All these people for thousands of years fearing God and shit, and now we have the modern age, and we know there's no God. And there's all these fucking elitist criminals and shit, just fucking screwing everybody over because they don't believe in God. They got rich off of exploiting people, and they know at this point there's no fucking God. The blessings that they have are from exploiting the weak, not from some powerful entity that cares about them particularly. And I'm at the point where I'm saying, hey, maybe we should become our own gods. Maybe we should establish some righteous judgment on the rich. You know what I mean? Maybe the government should actually bring back cruel and unusual punishment a little bit for those fuckers. People that decide to just fuck thousands of millions of people over just for a buck. You know what? Maybe they deserve to feel the pain of those thousands of people manifested right into them. Honestly, we should. I'm at the point where I'm just like, yeah, like fuck it. We should invest like money into like a chemical agent that like literally causes people's like cells to like explode one by one, and just like you know keep them alive for like 10 years, every single cell spontaneously exploding, you know, and it's just like we should find a way to do that and just inject it into the elite. It's just fuck yeah. Because of the elite, whenever they have children, just bring about like painful existence so they stop reproducing. I don't fucking know. I'm just I hate the rich, man. I hate the rich. I mean, honestly, I may be an antinatalist, I may be an ethicist, I may be a painist. I may believe that suffering is fundamentally the only thing wrong with existence, that everything breaks down the pain and suffering, and that it's the only thing that really matters is reduction of suffering. But when it comes down to it, as I said in the past, sometimes I think you need to crack an egg to make an omelet. You need to cause some pain to make people realize the value of pain, so to speak. You know, you need to. After great suffering comes great peace. You know, honestly, the elite are fucking shitty as fuck in there. And then if they don't feel suffering, they won't care. That's just how it be. It's been how to say, it's been written in the song, You're a rich girl and you've gone too far and you know it don't matter anyway, you know. And the reason that don't matter no way is because if you don't feel pain, you don't care. You just don't care. You can't relate. Am I a communist? No, I'm not a communist. I am a social democrat. Basically, I believe in capitalism and social safety nets at the same time. I basically believe if you want, I mean, no one asks to be here. No one can control their psychology. I don't believe in free will. So, when it comes down to it, if you're like in the shittiest parts of the system, just like, poor person, I don't really blame you. I don't really blame you if you're a drug addict or whatever. I technically don't really blame the elitist cunts for being super villainous. But when it comes down to it, you know, I think there's a certain level of like, there's like a certain level of like, compensation. Like, no one has free will, but the consequences of actions do matter. So it's kind of just like I'm a pro-mortalist. I am a negative utilitarian. So it's just kind of like, I want to reduce suffering of those alive, but I don't necessarily think life is inherently beneficial in any way. In fact, I think it's inherently the opposite. It's quite horrible and quite, it's kind of like an abusive relationship. You think you want it, you really shouldn't. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes down to my view on like stuff, it's like we should try to minimize as much suffering we can for those who are alive, aka socialism. But if you're too much of a drain on the system, aka you just are too much of a parasite, either you're an elitist and you don't want to pay your fair share of taxes, or you're a poor person and just want to pop out babies and go on the welfare state. Well, you know what I say to that? You're not contributing to the system and you're draining. You're a drain, a blight. And we know what we do with blights. We get rid of them. So, that's kind of what my opinion is basically let them burn. Let capitalism do its job. You know, you can only you basically have to have a certain level of balance. You don't. I'm not full on communism where it's just like everybody should be taken care of no matter what, and I'm not full on capitalism where it's just like pull yourself up by the bootstraps, sonny, get to work or die. I'm in the middle where I'm just kind of like no one asked to be here. We all deserve to get a minimum amount of support. I mean, like a basic amount of support. Like we should have like our basic well-being kind of taken care of. And at that point, if you want to contribute to society, you contribute to society. And if you don't, you perish. You get left in the dust, so to speak. You become homeless or whatever. And frankly, homeless people are kind of a blight to the system. So, I mean, if I was in charge, I would just like, personally, I'm an absolute dictator when it comes down to it. You could call it's when people ask like, are you a communist or like, are you like social? If I was in charge, honestly, the world would be a far different place than it would be right now. There would not be rich. There would not be poor and the population would be vastly cut down. Let's just say that. I agree with Amendum when it comes to like the idea of like, essentially like, oh, inheritance being gonzo. Just get rid of inheritance. Like bye bye inheritance. We don't need that. So if in a couple generations the elite, if I was in control, would be gonzo. They would just have all their wealth redistributed into society. And when it comes to the poor people, it pretty much would I'd set systems where you can basically legally get yourself terminated, and essentially like encourage vast amounts of the population to, voluntarily go bye bye. So, because, essentially, if they don't want to, I mean, we know a lot of people don't want to work. No one wants to work, and we know most people in the society don't really want to fucking be here. They're just kind of scared to exit. So if there was an easy way out, a lot of people probably would voluntarily exit this shitty plane of existence. So once you get rid of a lot of the lead and a lot of the people who are depressed essentially won't want to work either way, and they probably want to live, so voluntarily go extinct. That's kind of just the people who are like willing to work and do things with the system, you know, to like try to extinct all animal life and all that jazz. Then there's the ones who are just fearful, but they're too depressed and stuff. And when it comes down to it, they're still a blight, but they also, you know, you don't want them to suffer. What do you do with those people? You know, that's interesting. That's where it gets really interesting. What do you do with the people who don't want to work and also don't want to live, but they don't want to die either? What do you do with them? That's an interesting case scenario. If I was a dictator, what would I do in that case? Who fucking knows? But, you know, um, I don't know. You know, it's kind of like the utilitarian dilemma of like, what do you do in those case scenarios? You know, it's just like they want to live. They're kind of polite to the system and polite to utility. Uh, if I'm being completely honest, you know, I'd encourage a police state to just kind of shadow those people out of existence. But you know, I mean, that's just hashtag. I'm like Russia. I'm like Russia, guys. I'm like a better version of Russia. You know, I'm like Russia mixed with the United States with like Sweden. You know, I just take the best of all the worlds. You know, I'm just like we need a little of that shadow state. We need a little bit of that capitalism. We need a little bit of that healthcare. We just love it. So. But yeah, no, I'm a but yeah, I'm a fan of Amendum. Some takes that he has I don't agree on, but for the most part, I agree on like 90% of what Amendum says. So it's just like, yeah, basically I'm like Amendum, but like slightly more psychopath. I'm like Amendum, but like Amendum actually has like real empathy like built into him, and I'm like a fucking psychopath who's like worked to have some level of empathy, but at the same time is still just a fucking psychopath. So I have a moral system which is negative utilitarianism and painism, but when it comes down to it, I couldn't give a shit less about anybody on this earth as a human being or life form. I only care about their empirical experience and the fact that it has value, and logically I ought to take it into account in regards to my decision making. But when it comes down to it, I don't care about anybody anymore. The only person I've ever cared for on this planet is dead. I have nothing I care for. Nothing. There's no one alive on this planet I care for. And I want everybody to suffer. Frankly, I understand that suffering's bad. I truly do. I intellectually do not wish suffering upon any of you all. But when it comes down to it, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I feel you all deserve to suffer. Everyone, myself included, all people deserve to have every atom of theirs lit on fire and tormented for eternity. I wish AI would existed so they convert every single fucking molecule in this universe, every single atom, arrange it into a CPU just designed to fucking torment everything that's ever lived for all fucking eternity to the very end of this fucking universe in a heat death. That's what I hope on the inside. So, but intellectually speaking, remember, y'all, I actually understand that suffering's bad, and I hope you all don't suffer, and I dedicate my entire life and existence to reducing suffering. But on the inside, fuck do I hate you all. And who died, may you ask? Yeah, you can ask. Shamira Sheryazhin Kuch, a girl who died at the age of 22, didn't make it to her 23rd birthday. I knew her for 7 years. She is born in Switzerland and lived the majority of her life in South Africa. Yeah. Don't want to get into the details too much, but yeah, moral of the story is she was sexually assaulted as a kid, lots of trauma, lots of gaslighting from her parents, lots of unbelievable amounts of trauma, like hours each day disassociating and crying, just, you know. And on February 7th of 2023, she downed a bunch of pills and ended her life. The only person I've ever cared for, ever. And the only person I've ever related to. But it's okay. Who cares? You know, as a fraction, you know? It's just, what is it? I'm one of 120 billion people on the planet, and so is she. She's just one. She got sexually assaulted, y'all. Literally tormented for years of her life, and she's a fraction. 1 in 6 women just like her. 1 in 6 women just like her, facing PTSD every day until they're driven to death by the forces of nature or by their own will. They all go there either way, and they all are fucking tormented either way, and it's just a fucking fraction. Woo, a fucking fraction. 1 in 6 in the modern era, and if you really think about it, it's probably worse historically, guys. It's probably go back 50 years, it's probably closer to like 1 in 4 women get raped or some shit, you know? Woo! Isn't it fucking great, y'all? We live in the fucking hellscape. Everybody is just suffering, everybody's going through misery, and no one gives a flying fuck. So yeah, I fucking hate this world. I hate everybody in it, and I hope everybody gets exactly what they fucking deserve. Honestly, the only person I've ever cared for in my entire life went through misery every fucking day, and I couldn't do shit about it. And it ended with her attempting suicide multiple times and succeeding on February 7th. And here I am, just alive still. Alive still, a fucking psychopath who's who values nothing anymore. I don't care about anything anymore. I don't care about anything. I've wanted to die for so long. The only thing that kept me alive for years was basically making a promise to her that I would live till the age of 25 so long as she existed and our friendship existed and all that stuff, and we had connection with each other. Basically, so long as I had contact with Shamira, my promise to live to the age of 25 would be valid. And I basically said, hey, if I find a way to live, a reason to live before the age of 25, congratulations, Shamira, you've saved my life in a way. But otherwise, at 25, it's lights out. And yeah, I'm 23. She's dead now. She died at the age of 22. And yeah, I have no reason to be alive anymore in terms of a promise. The promise has been invalidated upon her death. So the only reason I'm here is just as I said. If I find a reason to live before the age of 25, I will do so. And I'm basically living right now because of negative utility and painism. I'm only alive because I realized through logical means that blasting my own fucking brains out or finding a noose and hanging myself only ends 1 of 8 billion people and 1 of 20 quintillion animals. 1 in 100 billion animals. It's fucking insane. This is so fucking useless. It's just whoop. 1 in 1 billion. 1 in 1 billion. Woo. You did it. You did nothing. Ah, yay. So it's just like, yeah, man. Do you plan on killing yourself? Someday. I don't know when. Every day I wake up and it's just hard to get out of bed, man, because it's just fucking, it seems malignantly pointless. It seems so fucking useless, honestly. All of this, like, no matter what. Like, no one, people get it or they don't get it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, get it or they don't. And there's all these philosophers, just like Benatar, Peter Singer, Rita McLeod, and fucking Amendum. We got Amanda Suknik. You know, you got all these people out here putting out content, all these antinatalists, all these ethalists, people of different perspectives, painism, negative utility. There's ethalists who are utilitarians, you know, that aren't even negative utilitarians. There's people of all different types of perspectives that are ethalists and antinatalists at this point. And I basically think that it comes down to it. Who cares? Who cares what I think? Who cares if I think painism's the way? Who cares if I think maybe utilitarianism's the way? When it comes down to it, I mean, global population's kind of collapsing as is without ethalism anyways. climate change is destroying this bitch. By 2100, 99.9% of existing species are going to be extinct, regardless of what humans do. Regardless of what we do, we've already fucking put the nail in the fucking coral reef's coffin, so to speak. And once that goes, woo, bye-bye Earth, basically, slowly but surely. The coral reefs die, the ocean dies, the rest of the biosphere slowly starts to go with it. You know, it's just how it be. So it's just kind of like we don't really need humans, honestly. The Earth is kind of at this point going to shit from what we've already done on accident. Us being here is kind of just I don't fucking know, man. Like sure, you can argue that there's no guarantee all life is going to go extinct and that it could essentially start up and if all humanity goes bye-bye from like collapse of society or whatever, that there's going to be a reclaim of nature and that suffering is going to be far greater and far vaster than if humanity was ever here. So yeah, it's a good thing if humanity's around. We do still need humanity to extinct all life, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of agree, but at the same time, I agree from an intellectual standpoint that we ought to be here to remove all sentient life in the most efficient manner possible. But at the same time, what's the point of fucking suffering? What's the point of me sticking around suffering this out if, like, you know, some scientist is gonna watch my video either way or someone else's video either way and be inspired to do it? It's like there's no point in me sticking around. It seems it's just like it just seems malignantly useless. Like I stick around and suffer just because what like it doesn't really affect much of anything. I mean, sure, as a utilitarian, if I can affect one life, I mean, before I blast my own brains out or whatever, it technically is something that I ought to do. I ought to try to prevent more suffering than just my own. So it doesn't change the fact that I ought to still be here, but it seems so fucking. But yeah, do I plan on killing myself someday? Of course. I mean, it's inevitability. It's either I get taken out by some force of humanity or nature, or I stick around long enough to kill myself, basically, eventually. Yeah, man, I'm too smart for our own good. Woo! I hate it so much. It doesn't feel like we should be too smart for our own good, man. Like it's not. Doesn't seem like it takes much intelligence to figure out. Oh, hey, you know, there's no guarantee that I'm gonna have any more good things happening in the future. Like I'm feeling pretty shitty right now. No guarantee that I'm gonna feel happy in the future. I could feel shitty. Like I know I'm feeling shitty right now. I can feel shitty 10 seconds from now. At 9 seconds from now, I could get a heart attack and I could still be feeling shitty. So the moral of the story is, why not end my life right this very second so I can avoid those 8 seconds before the heart attack feeling shitty? And, you know, there's no guarantee I'm going to feel ever not shitty again. I mean, that's basically my point. And, you know, it kind of just comes down to like pro-mortalism kind of automatically wins in regards to like all ethical lenses, whatever you have, like objective need fulfillment, desire fulfillment, pain or pleasure, you know, whatever, you know, negative utility. It doesn't matter. Like whatever lens you go through, promortalism has a response to it. While we're all better off fucking ceasing existence as fast as possible, basically, from a selfish, egoistic perspective. And yeah, I'm at the point where I'm just kind of like, why do I even entertain a non-egoistic perspective? I mean, I know other things' values equal to my own, so it's like there's no being egoistic is just stupid from that point of view. But at the same time, it's just like no one gives a damn about anybody else. So it's just like if you can't even maximize your own utility, how are you gonna help other people maximize theirs? You know what I mean? Like I don't fucking know. Like if you can't even like reduce your own suffering, how can you reduce others? You know, they don't want your help, basically. They don't want to change. So it's just like if you can't even adjust your own well-being to a proper extent, whatever. That's kind of where I'm at the point. And it's just like, everything just seems maliciously useless. Just so fucking. Like, I don't believe in the demiurge, y'all. I don't believe in the demiurge, the femiurge, or all any of these spiritual fucking woo-wah garbage concepts that just, like, have, like, hopium for an afterlife or some fucking bullcrap. When it comes down to it, it really does feel like the universe is just fucking with us at some point. So, like, honestly, it really fucking does. Like, it's so goddamn pointless, all this. It's so fucking pointless. There's so much meaning, and all of it's negative. There's so much value, and all of it's negative. And there's no fucking point to fighting against it at this point. It just seems that way. I don't. Do I plan on killing myself? There eventually, man. Eventually. Are you a happy person? No. 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 I used to be a happy person to some extent or another, and that was in my youth. Now I'm not a very happy camper, and, all hope of that happiness ever having any ability to really come to fruition died of Shamira. So, that's just how it be. That's just how it be. It died long ago. I don't believe that where it came from aliens to overcome, but fair enough if you want to believe that. I'm not going to stop you, but as long as you're an Nephilim or whatever, I don't care. You sound a bit angry. I am a bit angry, my friend. I want everybody to suffer. I am pissed. I am beyond pissed at life at this point. So, yeah, I'm a bit angry, you could say. A wee bit angry. Still current going. I'm 23, not a virgin, maybe autistic, but according to my past psychiatrist, probably not. And I don't know, man. I mean, I get high every day, but at this point, I don't even desire getting high. I just desire to basically get a fix, so to speak. So, go get a fix sounds like some hard shit, but no, it's just like marijuana that I smoke. But like, literally, I just smoke to basically cope at this point. I don't smoke for a high. I just smoke to feel okay. So I don't have anything that motivates me to live anymore. When I was like 18 and I first started smoking weed, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I won't mind being old, just getting stoned every day, man. And then eventually you kind of realize the nature of life. And yeah, I mean, I don't smoke for fun, but I smoke to cope. And once you realize that you're smoking to cope, uh, yeah. What are I'm not exactly sure I understand the question. What are you coping by smoking? What am I coping? You know, when you smoke THC, your brain kind of gets a little muddled and you don't think as fast. It kind of slows your brain down. You get really focused on like a single thing. So it basically allows you to just not focus on, it allows you to get really focused on whatever you want to choose to distract yourself with, aka video games, a show, music, Of course, it also makes it so you can get really focused on the big sad too. So, I mean, it can be kind of a double-edged blade, not gonna lie. But I'm pretty good at distracting myself. I did it for years. Basically. I mean, I could only really get crazy high for the first couple months or year or whatever, and then now I can smoke like a couple grams in like an hour and just be like, I want another hit. Yeah, I literally can't get high anymore from THC. So get body high a little bit. Like I can feel a little tingly, but not much. Take Delta 8 at work and it helps. Yeah, pretty much here. I mean, I don't do Delta 8 at work. I mean, kind of do, but not really. You work as a chef? Fuck yeah. I'm an Uber driver, so I don't really get the perks of being able to drive and smoke anymore. But I do like Delta 8. Delta 8's good. Not as good as Delta 9 or Delta 10, but Delta 8, you can get in bulk, which is what I like. So you can get it really fucking cheap. Got 100 grams for $106. Still have like 15 grams left. So cooking's fun, but it's a lot of work. Cooking is okay. It's not fun to me. It's more just a distraction. Like I can't just cook. If I'm just cooking, I get bored. If I'm just doing anything, I kind of get bored. But can you vape Delta 9, 10? Yeah, you can. Yeah. Dabs are vapeable. You can get like one of these guys right here, which is like Delta 8 or whatever. Uh, you can get like multiple different things. But yeah, there's like vapes of all sort of THC products, HHC, THC, whatever. Now I feel you. Yeah, yeah. I used to listen to podcasts when I worked at a factory job. Now I just kind of listen. It doesn't really matter. I'd rather listen to music, I guess, than podcasts when doing Uber, just because people probably would bitch about it. Like, what are you listening to? And I'd be like, I don't fucking know. Oh, if you want to, here's a podcast I'm gonna recommend to you as you like listen to podcasts. Murder in Oregon. If you want to absolutely ruin your trust for the American government and make it see you kind of just constantly just like this world's even shittier than I thought, and there's no hope. uh, look at the podcast called Murder in Oregon. It's pretty fucking good. Pretty sure there's a creepypasta that was inspired off of it because I listened to a creepypasta once and it was fairly similar in concept, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure this is based off of Murder in Oregon. Murder in Oregon. Yeah, I'll pull it up on Spotify or something. Here we go. Let's look it up. Yeah, actually, Spirit Oyster, you'd be really interested in this too because you're a ex-cop, so you'd be interested in Murder in Oregon. It's fucking wild. Like, like this is like oh my, like my dude. Like when I say like all cops are bastards. Yeah, like when I tell y'all like this is like one of the more like whoa, what the fuck is what that happened in the United States? Like this happened? Yeah, like it's one of those things like when it's like a basically okay, spoiler alert. I mean, it's like it's not too big of a spoiler. I mean, so like I mean if you really want to have like no details going into it, like fine, but I mean it's not really big of a spoiler, but let's just say if you want to know the heights of local corruption, watch this. You can. It's basically about like a local police, like a police dude who finds out there's a entire conspiracy going on in the local prison system to basically allow drugs to get like circulated in and out of the prison, allow prisoners to walk in and out of the prison. Uh, and it went all the way through the prison system, all the way to the courts and to the governor and stuff. Like all throughout like the politicians of Oregon, like all up the system basically. And yeah, included like basically like manipulating minors to have like sex with politicians and shit, like everything like under the sun. Like the dude that like tried to expose this got like murdered. Like government literally like hired a dude to like stab him to death outside of his job, and had a bunch of people take the hit for it and go to jail. And like after 20 years, it was dug up basically. And yeah, so some more of the story is if you want to find out about something that's happened within the last 100 years about like a literal sex and drug ring going on in Oregon, ran by the police, essentially. Oh boy. It's a fucking really interesting fucking podcast. A random coworker when I was working at Ace Manufacturing was like, "Yo, bro, you like podcasts?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You should give this one a check out because you always talk shit about the government and like politics and stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, he's like, "You'll love this." I'm like, "I got you." So I listened to it, and my gosh, it was quite interesting. So It's fucking wild. I'm gonna tell you that it's a little repetitive. Not gonna lie, the Learn to Work on podcast is a little repetitive. Like they don't do the best way of formatting it. They don't do the best way of formatting, and they kind of draw it out a little bit too much. Like repeated a lot of the same information throughout the different episodes. Whatever. There's nothing to watch. Same as always, Q&A, blah, blah, blah. At this point, don't really feel like watching anything. Same thing as always. Questions, I give answers, ethics, blah, blah, blah. Life shit. I'm watching House, so do be. Am I a gamer? Yeah, but not as much as I used to be. But yeah, I am. Do like Fortnite and Apex and shit. Dungeons and Dragons. Other than Fortnite, I mean, I don't know, Apex, other story games. I mean, a huge fan of The Last of Us. I literally got a tattoo of one of the main character's tattoos on my arm. So I don't know what you typed, but it just says yesterday on TV. Oh. I don't know if that's true or not, but fair enough, I guess. Yeah, fair enough. Don't know, but yeah. Well, too bad. I'm watching House. As you can see, classic. Testing 1 2. Someone said Brant, my transmitter Roy. What's up? I don't know where you got that I'm anti-abortion. I've always been pro-abortion. I'm literally pro-infanticide. It's like one of the first things I said on this channel is that like I'm pro-killing babies. Like literally straight to the womb, kick that fucker straight to the void. So, I'm pro-abortion, I'm pro-infanticide, I'm pro-death in any case scenario, basically, so long as the person is blight to the world, which most people are, and if they're a fetus, they aren't even a person, so I don't give a damn what you do to them. So they can't feel shit. You could take the little thing out of like Mortal Kombat right into the boom, take it in your hand like a heart beating heart, and be like boom, 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 and then crush it, and then like throw it at your worst enemy. I don't give a damn. It's a fucking bundle of cells. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. How's life? Life sucks, man. But I'm here. No, I just hate religion. So don't any opportunity to hop on and be like, fuck all these religious kooks. I take it. Plus, I've been following the Palestinian, Iran, Israel conflict for a while. I mean, been hashtagging the violence in Palestine for like a couple of years now. I've been saying that like 4 years basically. So, nothing too special, but yeah, I've been a political activist that's leftist and against war for a while. So, I mean, I have takes on the Palestine conflict, the Yemenis conflicts, basically anything where America's kind of allying a genocide of sorts slash ethnic cleansing. So, I have takes on that when my tax dollars go to, killing large quantities of people. So when it comes to this conflict, I have a take on it. My take basically is don't care. I'm a misotheist. Really unfortunate that there's a lot of suffering going on both sides, but it kind of seems like the Palestinians are a bunch of, how do you say it, backwards Islamic fucks that kind of just lie and pretend that their holy sites, well, are actually your holy. I mean, your holy sites are theirs. Basically, they're kind of like, oh, these Jewish temples that have been here for like 50 to 100, couple hundred years, whatever. Let me just say that's mine. It's always been mine. It's actually my temple in the Quran, of course, not your guys's. So when it comes down to it, Palestinians kind of literally have like a written document that says, "Lol, let's kill all the Jews." Ha ha ha. And then the Jews are kind of just like, we have a book. This is where God's chosen people, and you're all secondary. Ha ha ha. Bomb hits you. It really do be. So basically, both sides kind of just how do you say theocratic cunts that just kind of think they both deserve power, and everybody else that's not them kind of deserves to get wiped off the face of the earth. Or, if it happens to get wiped off the face of the earth, it doesn't matter. Basically, Islam's like, we ought to wipe everybody off the face of the earth, and then Israel is just kind of like, hey man, if you guys get wiped off the face of the earth, it really do be, I mean, we're God's chosen people, you aren't. So when it comes down to it, I don't like either side. I don't like religion in general. I'm an anti-theist. I'm a misotheist. I'm very much against religion. So I can only pray that they wipe each other off the face of the earth. Unfortunately, there's the cost of, other allies getting involved, and hence World War III, which could potentially lead to the collapse of civilization, and then we're not actually going to be able to extinct all animal species on Earth, which, blah, 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 is a bad thing. So, I'm really, in general, against the conflict. Call it peace would probably be the best case scenario in an actual world. But, what I hope happens is they just bomb themselves to death, and then, like, Judaism and Palestinian just kind of fizzle out of the world. But that won't happen, so, I mean, it is what it is. So, best we can hope for is peace. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my take on Islam versus Jews. It's just kind of like, they both suck, and both suck. I don't remember names very well, so Marilyn Manson, whoever that is, heard the name, forget who it is. Don't really care too much. Watching House, but as usual, it's a Q&A, so I'll answer questions, yeah, about ethics. Don't really care for anything else. Marilyn Manson. Oh, Marilyn Manson, the Manson dude. Is that the guy that, like, convinced everybody to like kill folks or whatever? Is that guy? Let me see. Marilyn. No, who the fuck is this? No, I'm thinking of fucking that other dude. Whatever. Marilyn Manson, a controversial metal act. Hmm. I'm thinking of Charles Manson. Uh, I don't really pay attention. I don't really pay attention to music artists very much, frankly, or their lives, or famous people in general. Yeah, I don't really care about famous people. I don't really have idols, to be honest. The only person I ever really looked up to in terms of famous figure was probably like Stephen Hawking. Even him, I was just kind of like, eh. Even nowadays, I don't even care about Stephen Hawking. It's just some dead cripple. Discovered black hole stuff and all that, but who really gives a damn? It doesn't change the fact that we're all suffering for no reason. Sweet Dreams Witchcraft. I'll look into it at some point. As I was saying, Cat, don't know where Cat is. Cat be someplace, probably outside hunting things. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Testing 1, 2. It's working. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of want to go back to sleep. Kind of want to go back to sleep. Yeah, kind of want to go back to sleep. It seems like a good idea. Seems like a great idea. Go back to sleep and just. I don't know. I'll go to sleep here in a little bit. I don't know. Don't think anybody's really asked too many ethical questions. There hasn't really been many ethical questions in a while, so. This was like a take of like, what's your opinion on abortion? They were like, you're anti-abortion, aren't you, Brian? I'm like, no, I'm pro-abortion, always have been. But it's like the closest we got to anything ethical. So yeah, not much point. Anyways, I'll be streaming again later today at some point.